What if Kion and Kopa were together? Kion and Kopa never met, but together they'd have changed everything. Now, of course, we all know they were blood brothers, torn apart by fate, but what if destiny gave them one chance to reunite? Okay, imagine this for a second. Kion and Kopa, Simba's sons. Two paths that never crossed, one raised with a roar of ancient magic. The other vanished from the narrative like he never existed. But what if fate stepped in? What if Kion and Kopa actually met? If you've ever secretly wondered what it would have been like if Kion and Kopa went on this journey called life together, you're about to find out. Let's break it down, scene by scene. This is how it could have gone. If you watched The Lion Guard, you already know. Kion's story is a whole spiritual journey. Born the younger brother of Princess Kiara, Kion grows up curious and carefree. But things change the moment he discovers the Roar of the Elders, a powerful gift passed down from the Great Kings. And just like that, boom, he's chosen to lead the Lion Guard, a legendary group that protects the Pride Lands. Kion's early journey is a whirlwind. He's learning leadership, loyalty, and when not to rely on power. The Roar is tricky. It responds to emotion. Get angry, it backfires. Lose focus, things break. And Kion? He's constantly wrestling with inner conflict. Despite all these, he tries his best to balance it all and to become the lion that his parents would be proud of. Imagine how more bearable his journey would have been if his brother was by his side all along. He won't have to worry about carrying his burdens alone. Okay, back to Kion's story. The journey wasn't easy. Kion faced betrayal, lost friends, got emotionally wrecked by Scar's manipulation. Yes, Scar's spirit was back, classic Disney move, and even got physically scarred by Ushari the Cobra. That bite wasn't just a plot twist. It poisoned Kion, messed with his head, and forced him to confront his darker instincts. And that's what sent him packing, to the magical tree that healed many. Poisoned and slowly unraveling, Kion becomes more aggressive, more distant. He doesn't trust himself anymore, and he's terrified of becoming like Scar. This leads him to embark on a journey to the Tree of Life, far beyond the Pride Lands, to heal his mind, his spirit, and the Roar itself. He meets Rani, a strong-willed queen-to-be, and after trials of trust, teamwork, and intense introspection, he finds balance. By the time he returns to the Pride Lands, he's not just a leader, he's reborn. But what if, on that journey, he wasn't the only lost son of Simba trying to find himself? Now let's talk about Kopa. While Disney gave Kion a whole show, Kopa got buried in the books. Literally, Kopa was Simba and Nala's firstborn before The Lion King 2. Simba's pride rewrote the timeline with Kiara in the spotlight. For those of us who devoured The Lion King's 6 new adventures, Kopa was everything. Brave, curious, full of energy. He looked up to Simba but also had this independent streak. And then, boom, he vanished. Although different people have come up with different theories regarding what happened to Kopa, many believe that Zira had something to do with it. Zira, Scar's fanatical follower, attacks Kopa in revenge for Scar's death. Whether she believed she was taking the throne for her son, or simply acting out of blind loyalty, her actions change everything. Some say Kopa dies, but what if he lived? Imagine for a second that Kopa survives the ambush but is believed to be dead. Maybe he's badly wounded, rescued by a nomadic pride, or nursed to health by an old lioness in the Shadowlands. He grows up alone, haunted by fragments of memory. All he knows is that he was once meant for something bigger, but something or someone took it away. He becomes strong, sharp, wary of others but not bitter. He wanders, seeking identity. He's not Kopa the Prince anymore, he's just Kopa. No roar, no legacy, no family, but the pride in his blood never fades. And then he hears of another lion. A lion with golden fur, a lion who leads with magic, a lion who bears the name Kion. It's fate, or maybe Mufasa himself guiding the winds. Kion is on his way back from the Tree of Life. Kopa is tracking down the truth, and somewhere between the Pride Lands and the border of the Outlands, they cross paths. They don't recognize each other at first. Kion senses something strange. This lion feels like family. Kopa is stunned. This lion fights like Simba. They clash. Not out of hate, but instinct. Two heirs, two different paths. But then comes recognition. Maybe it's a name. Maybe Kion says, "Simba is my father," and Kopa stiffens. Maybe Rafiki appears, whispering to the wind, "The sons of the sun are together again." And everything clicks. Kopa realizes he was never forgotten. Kion realizes he was never alone. They look at each other and see what they might have been, and what they can still become. It's not just a reunion, it's a rebirth. They return to Pride Rock, together. Simba falls silent when he sees Kopa. Nala runs to him. Kiara doesn't know what to say. She has a brother she never met. Simba breaks down. The king admits his guilt, his failure. He thought Kopa was gone forever. He thought letting go was mercy. But now, the family is whole, finally. But it doesn't end there, not even close. After that emotional homecoming at Pride Rock, the tears, the shock, the whispered Kopa from Nala, and the heavy silence from Simba, it's clear things will never be the same. The Pride Lands feel different now. More whole, more complete. The return of Kopa isn't just a family reunion, it's a cosmic realignment. Like the great kings of the past finally exhaled after holding their breath for too long. But what does life look like after? Let's start at the Tree of Life. Kion still has his place there. He made a promise to Rani, to the animals who found refuge there, and to himself. He's grown into his role as a wise, balanced leader. But now, he's not returning alone. After the reunion, Kion invites Kopa to see the Tree of Life for himself, not out of obligation, but as a brother who wants to share the most transformative part of his journey. And Kopa goes. Imagine it. Kopa stepping into the glowing realm of the Tree of Life. A place that once healed Kion's body and soul now becomes the ground where Kopa finds his purpose. He's seen battle, loss, and exile. But here, among sacred trees and ancient wisdom, he finally finds peace. Rani is cautious at first. Kopa is a mystery to her, but she watches how he interacts with the Night Pride, how he trains with Bunga and Fuli, how he laughs with Kion like they've known each other forever. She sees not just a prince, but a protector, a lion forged in fire and solitude, but shaped by loyalty. And over time, Kopa stays. Not forever. His roots are still in the Pride Lands, but long enough to build something of his own. A new branch of the Lion Guard is formed. A team that travels between kingdoms, solving disputes, protecting outliers, rescuing the forgotten. Kion leads with diplomacy. Kopa? With experience. He becomes a living bridge between tradition and change. Now back home, things are shifting too. Kiara now has two brothers. One raised beside her, one returned from myth. There's tension at first. How could there not be? Kiara was raised to believe she would rule alone. But Kopa has no interest in the crown. In fact, he becomes one of Kiara's greatest supporters. He trains her, spars with her, reminds her of Simba's legacy, not as a burden, but as a gift. He walks beside her as she prepares to become queen, not in front. And for Simba and Nala, it's healing in the deepest sense. Their lost cub is home. The silence of years past is finally broken. But here's where it gets deeper. Imagine a grand ceremony at Pride Rock. Not for a coronation, not for a birth, but for unity. Kion and Kopa standing side by side, Simba declaring the Pride Lands no longer ruled just by a single bloodline, but watched over by guardians chosen by legacy and destiny. Kopa becomes the head of the Elder Guard, a group of lions and animals who've experienced exile, hardship, or redemption. He mentors cubs who feel out of place. He visits far-off lands to spread the teachings of peace, balance, and resilience. He becomes a legend not because he was lost, but because he returned. And Kion? He and Rani open the Tree of Life to lions and creatures from all lands. Under their leadership, the tree becomes more than a sanctuary. It becomes a living archive of all kingdoms, where the roar isn't just a weapon, but a symbol of connection. Every so often, Kopa and Kion reunite at Pride Rock. They watch the stars and talk about Mufasa, about what could have been, about how in the end they were never truly separated, just waiting for the right moment to come back together. Because when brothers reunite under the stars, that's legacy. That's healing. That's the Lion King. It would be the greatest story of reunion and redemption the Pride Lands have ever known. A tale of lost bloodlines, healed hearts, and the power of brotherhood to rewrite destiny. If you've made it this far, you're officially part of the Pride. Hit that subscribe button for more wild takes, untold truths, and deep dives into the Lion King franchise. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.